Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, so when you hear creatine, what immediately comes to mind? I bet for most people, it's, gyms, muscles, maybe athletic performance. But what if I told you this? This really powerful compound, the one everyone links to physical stuff, actually plays a huge, maybe equally vital role somewhere totally different, like your brain and maybe even your mood. It sounds kind of wild, right? So today, let's really unpack this. We're doing a deep dive into some pretty fascinating new research that's making us rethink creatine entirely. Our mission to figure out how it helps your brain work better, if it can actually help with things like depression symptoms, and, is it this sort of underestimated tool for just feeling mentally well? We want to know if this stuff supports your brain and maybe if it belongs in your mental health toolkit.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, I think, is how directly creatine is tied to the energy our brain needs.
Yeah.
Especially, when it's under pressure. So basically, creatine is this natural compound. Your body actually makes it from amino acids, glycine, arginine, methionine. You've probably heard of those. And it mostly gets stored as something called phosphocreatine. Now, this phosphocreatine stuff, it's like super important because it helps make ATP.
ATP, that's the energy currency, right, for all our cells.
Exactly, the main fuel.
Yeah.
And yeah, your body makes some, and you get a bit from food like red meat, fish. But, and this is a key point, a lot of people, especially if you're on a plant-based diet, might not have quite optimal levels, not for like peak mental performance anyway.
And you mentioned the brain's energy needs. It uses a ton, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of staggering.
Like, what was it? 2% of body mass, but 20% of the energy.
That's the one. Yeah. It's incredibly energy hungry.
So, okay, if creatine boosts this ATP stuff, this energy, does that mean our brains are usually just like running on empty? Or is it more about giving us a boost when things get tough?
That's a really good way to put it. It's less that the brain is always running low and more like creatine acts as like a backup generator.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so when demands spike, maybe you're focusing really hard, learning something new, or you're just stressed out, creatine jumps in. It makes sure those brain cells have the immediate energy they need to keep firing properly. It's like an instant energy reserve, helping you maintain function even when you're tired or under pressure.
Okay, so it keeps the lights on, basically. But what about, making the thinking itself better? That's where it gets really interesting for me. Like, imagine thinking clearer when you're exhausted or stressed just because your brain's energy supply is optimized. Is that what the research is showing?
That's exactly what the research is pointing towards. We're seeing evidence for specific cognitive improvements.
Like what?
Things like better working memory, holding information in your head and faster processing speed, thinking quicker. There's even evidence that helps maintain cognitive performance when you're sleep deprived, which, let's face it, is pretty common.
Tell me about it.
Right. And it seems to support mental clarity, focus when you're stressed, and it might even delay that feeling of mental burnout when you're doing really tough mental tasks.
Wow. Any specific studies?
Yeah, there was a key one back in 2003. It was a good one, double-blind, placebo-controlled. And it found creatine supplementation significantly boosted cognitive performance, especially on tasks needing short-term memory and quick thinking.
And you mentioned vegetarians earlier.
Exactly. The effect was particularly strong in vegetarians in that study, which makes sense given they usually get less creatine from their diet.
Okay, that's pretty compelling. Sustained mental energy is something I think everyone could use more of.
For sure. And this leads to a bigger question, doesn't it? If optimizing the brain's basic energy can do this for cognition, how might that ripple outwards? Could it affect our emotional resilience too, beyond just focus and memory?
You mean like mood?
Precisely. Creatine's potential role in mood, particularly depression, is a really hot area of research now. There's this link being drawn between low cellular energy in the brain and mood disorders, depression, for instance. And the idea is that creatine might help restore that energy balance.
How so?
Well, there's evidence.
Okay.
A major study in 2012, it was in the American Journal of Psychiatry, found something pretty remarkable. They took women with major depressive disorder who were already on a common antidepressant, an SSRI called escitalopram.
Yeah, like Lexapro.
Exactly. And they added creatine to the treatment for some of them. The group getting creatine actually saw their symptoms improve faster and more effectively.
Wow, faster and better. Faster and better. And then there's brain imaging work, too. Using this technique, 31 PMRS. It basically lets scientists see energy metabolism in the brain. They've seen altered energy patterns in people with depression, and there's potential for creatine to help normalize that.
So it's actually changing the brain's energy function.
It appears so. And it might also influence key mood neurotransmitters, things like serotonin and dopamine.
That sounds incredibly promising, especially as an add-on therapy. But, we always have to be careful. Is this seen as a replacement for standard treatments?
No, absolutely not. And that's a really critical point to emphasize. Creatine looks like a valuable adjunct, a helper, and definitely not a replacement for professional treatment or therapy.
Okay, good to clarify.
It's part of a bigger picture. And while the depression research is maybe the most developed, there are also early hints, suggestions that it might help with stress resilience and maybe even anxiety.
Oh, interesting. How might it do that? The theories involve protecting brain cells, neurons, from things like oxidative stress, that's like cellular rust, and also mitochondrial dysfunction, when the cell's powerhouses aren't working right. It might also help modulate the HPA axis, that's your main stress response system, and just generally buffer the brain's energy supply when things feel emotionally taxing.
So it could be useful for anyone feeling just burnt out, mentally fatigued, chronically stressed.
That's exactly the idea. It makes it a pretty compelling supplement to consider for those kinds of struggles.
Okay, so let's get practical. If someone listening is thinking, maybe this could help me, what do they need to know? Dosage, how to take it.
Right. So for these brain health and mood benefits we're talking about, the typical recommendation is a maintenance dose, usually around 3 to 5 grams per day.
And is that a specific type?
Good point. Creatine monohydrate is the most studied and generally recommended form. It's effective and usually the most affordable too.
Okay, 3 to 5 grams of monohydrate daily. What about that loading phase you sometimes hear about with athletes?
Ah, yes, the loading phase. That usually involves taking much more, maybe 20 grams a day split up for about 5 days. It helps saturate your muscles and brain faster. But here's the thing. For the mental health benefits, it's generally considered optional, not really required.
So you can just start with the 3-5 grams.
You can absolutely just start with the 3-5 grams daily. Consistency is the main thing. Taking it every day helps keep those brain levels stable. With or without food is usually fine.
Anything else to keep in mind?
Yes. Hydration. It's important to drink enough fluids when you're taking creatine. It helps with absorption and supports your kidneys.
And safety. Is it generally safe long-term?
Generally, yes.
Great.
Creatine is one of the most researched supplements out there and has a very good safety profile for most people, even long-term. But, and this is important, if you have any pre-existing kidney issues, you absolutely should talk to your doctor before starting. That's standard advice for any supplement, really.
Definitely. Better safe than sorry. So, summing that up, who really stands to benefit most here? Who should be thinking about this?
Well, it's actually quite a broad range of people. Certainly anyone experiencing, low mood, that kind of brain fog, feeling burnt out.
Makes sense.
Vegetarians and vegans, as we discussed, because their dietary intake is lower. They often see noticeable benefits. Students, people in high-pressure jobs, looking for that cognitive edge, maybe better focus and memory under stress.
Yeah, I can see that.
Older adults, too. Brain energy metabolism can decline with age, so creatine might be supportive there against cognitive decline. And even athletes, not just for muscles, but for dealing with the mental fatigue and emotional stress that often comes with intense training and competition.
It really covers a lot of ground. And, this really highlights something important. Creatine sounds powerful, but it's not magic, right?
Yeah.
It works best as part of a bigger picture.
Exactly. That's such a crucial point. Knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when you apply it within a whole approach. No single thing is a silver bullet. Think of creatine as one tool in your mental wellness toolkit. It works even better alongside other healthy habits and maybe even other supportive nutrients.
Are there other things that work well with it synergistically?
Yeah, there are several things often discussed in the context of brain health and mood. For example, L-theanine, often found in green tea, is known for promoting a sort of calm focus, and it can help with anxiety.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Magnesium is another big one. It's involved in so many processes, including stress regulation and keeping the nervous system balanced. Then you have adaptogens, like ashwagandha. Adaptogens basically help your body handle stress better. Ashwagandha can help lower cortisol, that stress hormone, and improve mood.
Right.
And of course, omega-3 fatty acids, like from fish oil. They're fundamental for brain structure and helping neurotransmitters work properly.
So it's about building a supportive stack, potentially.
Kind of, yeah. Or just making sure your foundations are solid across the board. The diet, sleep, stress management, Creatine fits into that holistic view.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The big takeaway from our deep dive today seems to be creatine is way more than just a supplement for bodybuilders. It looks like a well-researched, pretty safe, and actually quite affordable ally for your brain function and your emotional well-being.
Absolutely. The science is really pointing that way.
So whether you're dealing with burnout, that annoying brain fog, maybe low mood, or just want to support your cognitive endurance, the evidence suggests creatine could play a really helpful role. Think clearer, maybe feel a bit better, handle stress a little more effectively. And that leads to a final thought, maybe something for you listening to chew on. If optimizing something as fundamental as the brain's energy system can have such widespread effects on how we think and feel, well, what other simple foundational biological things might hold keys to better well-being? Keys we're only just starting to find. How could you maybe pay more attention to the subtle shifts in your own energy and focus, and what might those shifts be telling you about what your brain needs?
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.